Good afternoon. My name is Deborah Tritt-Harmon, and myself, along with my colleague Brandy Horn, will be speaking to you about the University of South Carolina Aiken Library Resources for Distance Learning. In this session, you will learn more about an overview of some of the special services we at the Gregg-Graniteville Library have available for online learners, opportunities for embedding librarians online, as well as ways that faculty can best connect their students to the online library. Let's get started by showing you how to access the library webpage. From USC Aiken's homepage, usca.edu, if you scroll over Academics, the first link under Academic Resources says Library, and that's going to take you to our library homepage. The first thing you'll notice on our library homepage is a research toolbox in the middle of the page. This is going to be your main quick access point for looking for books or different databases, etc. What we're going to focus on today, though, are some of the resources and tools available through our faculty staff portal, and this is located in the bottom center of our homepage. On the faculty portal page, you're going to see an overview of some of the major services and resources we have available for our faculty. Now, for distance students, we do have some special research support available for them. So from this main page, I'm going to show you some of the overview of some of the neat things we do for our distance learners. So if anybody needs help with research, so if they have questions about finding articles or accessing the databases, there's a couple of different ways that our students can access us. And one of the main ways that's kind of neat for our distance learners is that we have chat with the librarian Monday through Friday, 24 hours a day. So it means at 2 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, one of your students can contact the librarian and get assistance. And then on Saturday and Sunday, chat is available from 8 a.m. to midnight. Students can also schedule an appointment with the librarian. So if they want to meet with us via phone or web chat, we can meet with them for up to an hour and they can schedule an appointment. We can meet with them Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They can also call us. And another popular option, especially for our distance students, is they can email us. To email us, they simply click this link, fill out a form, and it will submit an email to us, and we usually are able to get back with them within 24 hours, of course, except on weekends and holidays. In addition to one-on-one support for our students through Ask a Librarian, we also do provide library instruction. And I'm going to let my colleague, Professor Brandy Horn, talk to you a little bit more about our library instruction program with a specific focus on distance learners.
Hi, as the point person for information literacy efforts and library instruction on campus, I'll likely be your first contact regarding library instruction requests. If your students will be tackling any research-based assignments, we encourage you to schedule a library instruction session for them so that we can show them how to engage in the research process, the most appropriate resources for their assignment, and how to use those resources effectively. On this page, in the center box that says Library Instruction, you'll see the link to the Library Instruction Request form. If you click that, and then fill out the form, as you go through, you'll see that there are questions like time class meets, preferred date of instruction, alternative date of instruction. If your class meets asynchronously or is online, just make that clear in the request, and then whichever librarian ends up teaching the class, they'll be in contact with you to work out the details. Important to include, though, is a description of the assignment. Whichever librarian will be teaching the class will then follow up with you and potentially ask for a copy of the assignment and maybe a copy of your syllabus so that we can be sure to tailor instruction or the resources that we create to the specific class and assignment. Towards the bottom of the form, we have a section where you can indicate the specific needs that you have for the class, things that we commonly cover in these sessions, accessing the online catalog, finding periodical articles, evaluating web resources. Check all the items that you would be interested in having us cover. Depending on the length of the class, time may not allow us to cover everything. So that can be a conversation that you have with the librarian that's assigned to teach the class. But also, we do have faculty who bring their students in for multiple library instruction sessions, sometimes consecutive sessions where maybe the first one talks about the research aspect of the assignment, and the second session talks about how to cite the sources found. Or they may have the librarian come multiple times during the semester, either at the beginning of different research assignments or come in for different phases of the same research assignment. So just know that that's something that we are more than happy to do if our schedule and calendar permits. That is definitely an option that's available to you. In addition to face-to-face instruction, we can also create asynchronous tutorials, which can take the form of videos or even course guides. An example of a course guide that we've created for English 101 for Dr. Warren's class. She has an assignment called the Can of Mystery, so we've created a course guide specific to the Can of Mystery assignment. We have the introduction, we talk about how to find books, but how to find books dealing with the kind of topics that that assignment requires, the specific databases that you would need to find research for that assignment, and websites that could potentially be useful for completing that assignment, and some search tips. So this is a guide that's created to support a very specific assignment. And so this is something that we can create for your classes as well. When it comes to these asynchronous tutorials or online course guides, these are things that take time to create, so we would need considerable advance notice, and it's something that the librarian would discuss with you to work out the details to make sure that we create exactly what your students need. But again, asynchronous tutorials and these online course guides are something else that we can create for your students to support their research needs. In addition to these course or assignment specific resources, we have some more general resources available for your students. Back on the faculty staff services page in the library instruction box, you'll see a link for tutorials, and my colleague Professor Harmon will talk more about those.
In addition to the course support that we can provide, as my professor Brandy Horn said, we do have some general tutorials provided for our students. These tutorials are all placed on our YouTube page, and the strength of our online tutorials is really connected to the different citation guides. We have tutorials based on all the different parts of citations. So for Chicago, for APA, for MLA, we do have some citation videos supporting that. And at that, we do have some other generic tutorials like using the paging service, borrowing books from other Pascal libraries. So we do have additional videos in our online library to support our students and faculty. So the next portion of this presentation is going to dig in a little bit deeper and talk about resources for distance students and faculty, and then also talk a little bit about how we can best link our students with these resources. For our books and media, we now have over 300,000 electronic books available through our catalog. The easiest way to see if we have a book or an ebook available is to go to our catalog and type in the key term. And the results page will be stuff from our library catalog. You will notice is that we have books, but we also have ebooks available through our catalog. Now, to access an electronic book, what you do is you click on the title of the book. A record page will show up, and in the middle of the page there will be a link that says connect to, and that is going to connect you to the electronic books. So I'm going to click on the link. It's going to ask me to identify my campus. In my case, it's USC Aiken. If I am off campus, it's going to ask me to log in, and we're going to talk a little bit about off-campus login in a moment. But if I'm on campus, it's going to let me through, and then I'll want to go through, and we do recommend that you click on the full text link. Either it'll be a PDF full text or an EPUB full text, and this is actually going to open up the PDF reader for the electronic book, and then you have full access to the book online. And then you'll either be able to go page through the book, or you can actually go through and full text search within the individual book. In addition to electronic books, we have a wealth of databases with e-journals, videos, and other types of media available through the website as well. To access these resources, you can either go directly to databases, so if you know the specific name of the database you're looking for, you can go through this method. But what we actually recommend is the research guides. And so if you are teaching a business class or a nursing class, what you can do is provide your students a link to the research guide. And these general research guides are going to show you some of the best resources available for your topic area. In particular, the Find Articles tab is going to show you some of the best databases that we have available through for that individual subject area, and these will be direct links into those resources. In addition, providing links to the research guides for your relevant subject area, one question we get a lot from faculty teaching distance courses is, how do I connect my students to an individual journal article? So I'm going to show you now how to create persistent links. And to do this, and to find the instructions on how to do this, we're going to click again on our old friend, the Faculty Staff Portal, and then navigate to the right-hand side of the page, and under Teaching Support, I'm going to look for Persistent Links and click on that link. And this is going to take me to a page that's going to show me how to create a persistent link. And so effectively what a persistent link is a link that will connect our students to our access to the resources. And so in order to do that, a lot of times what we have to do is add this little URL string on the front of a stable URL from the individual journal article. And what that's going to do is when the student clicks on that link, it's going to take them to our what's called a proxy, and it's going to ask them to log in, and then they'll be able to access the resources. So I'll show you how to do this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this URL, and then I'm going to paste it into a Word document or a text document. Once I have this, now what I need to do is go out and find the stable URL for the individual article I want to share with my students. So for example, if I want to share this article with my students, I will need to take the stable URL provided by the database, copy that, and then paste that onto the end of my stable URL. And once those are together, that will create a new link that is going to have our students authenticate and therefore be able to access the full text of the article. It is worth noting that for most of the journals that are out there, you can link directly without problem. It is worth noting that Harvard Business Review does not allow any direct linking to any of their articles, but most of their journals will allow for it. It is worth noting that in some of our databases, particularly any of our databases put out by the publisher EBSCOhost, will often have a persistent link already built in. So for example, if I open up this article, what I can then do is actually go on the right-hand side, click on Permalink, and what you will notice is that the first part already has that prefix, the easyproxy.usca.edu, already added to the link, and so all we'll need to do is copy that and provide that to my students. It is worth noting that the link located at the top of the page is not a persistent link, so please do not provide this link to our students as it will not be stable. One other really neat source that you can incorporate into your class and also provide direct links to are some of the resources from our streaming media guide. On this guide, you'll see access points for a number of different online video vendors. And what's really neat about this page is we provide you some guidelines for what you can do with this resource and if you can use it in the class and how you can use it in your class, including the ability to share certain videos with your students. Now that we've talked about the different resources, one of the core things that's important for both faculty and students is how to access the resources from off-campus. When you're going to access the resources from off-campus, you use your USC Network username, and this includes the username before the @usca.edu, and then use your Blackboard password. If you or your students have any problems with library resources or questions, please make sure they ask a librarian. We're also happy to talk with you more in depth about how we can meet the needs of your distance learning class. Thank you very much.